Hello students, this is Dr. Sunita Patnaik and we are going to complete our chapter today, Molecular Basis of Inheritance. Today we are going to discuss about regulation of gene expression, about operon, lac operon and DNA fingerprinting. So today's topic is very important students. Gene expression. Now, gene is regulated and its product is synthesized, and there are different steps which are involved in the regulation of gene expression, like transcriptional level, processing level, transport of the mRNA, that is from nucleus to cytoplasm, and translation level. So gene of a cell is expressed to perform different functions. It's not only the gene carries a character or a trait, it is also an important factor which is present on the DNA to express and perform different functions like synthesis of glucose, metabolism of lactose, etc. So a process by which information from a gene is used to synthesize a functional gene product is known as gene expression. As you can see here, transcription, after transcription, translation. Now all of you know what is transcription. The information present on the DNA is copied into mRNA is known as transcription, and this mRNA which is transported to the cytoplasm to ribosome for the synthesis of protein is known as translation. There are certain post-translation processing in a eukaryotic organism, the modification of the protein so that it is processed and translocated to the destined location. So this is the gene expression which is regulated for different processes like transcription, translation and post-translational processing like the protein degradation, etc. Gene regulation, which is an important character. Now genes of a cell are expressed to perform different functions, right? Now the modification of DNA occurs as here the DNA from which the information has to be copied is transcribed into mRNA. Now once the mRNA has all the information for the synthesis of a particular protein, it is transported to cytoplasm for the synthesis of protein. Now this protein has to undergo different process like the regulation, that is the gene expression, so that they control the characters and also they control cell function. So the protein as per the requirement has different functions to carry out under the regulation of genes. So gene regulate all these functions. Regulation of gene expression. In eukaryotes, the regulation could be exerted at transcriptional level, processing level, transport of mRNA from the nucleus to the cytoplasm, translational level. The metabolic, physiological and environmental conditions that regulate the expression of genes. Now prokaryotic regulation is controlled by the rate of transcriptional initiation. So the activity of the enzymes and the ability of a promoter to recognize the site so that the regulatory protein could be activated or either blocked or repressed. The accessibility of promoter is also affected by operators. Operator is the region located adjacent to the promoter. There are different terms like the induction, where the enzymes or genes are activated, inducer, that the molecule that triggers the induction, so that the genes will be activated, so that there will be an operator or a repressor depending upon the requirement. Operon. Now what is operon? Operon is a very well known term which is related to the regulation of gene expression. Now, transcriptional control mechanism of the gene regulation is known as operon. So, operon is a polycystonic structural gene which is regulated by a common promoter and regulatory genes. Now, a cluster of genes which perform a common function is known as operon. There are different genes, they combinedly work together and function for a particular function. This is known as operon. So here you can see the general structure of an operon here. A regulatory gene, a promoter which is a small sequence of the DNA, a operator, a small segment of the DNA, and there are different genes like A, B, C, D. Depending upon, there may be 2 or 3, always there are a group of genes which are performing a common function. Now these genes will transcribed into mRNA so that they will synthesize that particular required protein or any other compound as per the information present on the genes and as per their expression. So this is known as operon. Levels of regulation of gene expression, as I have already mentioned, genes which are present on the DNA transcribed into mRNA. mRNA is transported from nucleus to cytoplasm for the synthesis of protein which is known as translation. So there are different terms, different levels like the transcriptional control, RNA processing control, RNA transport control and translation control. Lac operon. Now, one of the operon that we are going to study is lac or lactose operon. Now, lac operon was first described by Jacob and Monod. So, bacteria generally prefer glucose as the carbon source to obtain energy. So, glucose which is present in the prokaryotic organisms are a source of energy. So, in conditions when lactose is the only source of carbon in the environment, the bacteria synthesize the beta-galactosidase enzyme that breaks down the lactose into glucose and galactose. Now, beta-galactosidase, I have mentioned about lactose. Lactose breaks down to form glucose and galactose, right? And glucose is the main source of energy. But beta-galactosidase that is required for lactose utilization is a part of lac operon. Now, the lac operon consists of these genes: I gene, Z gene and Y gene. These are the 3 genes which are very important for the synthesis of lactose and glucose. I gene codes for the repressor of the lac operon. Z gene codes for the beta-galactosidase. Y gene codes for permease and A gene codes for transacetylase. So there is an inducer which regulates the operon whether to activate the genes or whether to block the genes as per the requirement of that particular biocompound. So this is the structure of a general lac operon where you can see a promoter here, the enzymes, here you can see an operator and here you can see a promoter. So once the gene is copied into mRNA, the protein is synthesized and if required then only the lactose will operate as a repressor, will block the operator. Now if the operator is blocked, then there will be no synthesis of the genes, there will be no expression of these genes. But when this repressor do not bind with the operator, then immediately all these 3 genes will be activated so that they will express into the mRNA and synthesize the required protein or compound. So the operator plays a major role here, and whether the operator will trigger these enzymes or not depends upon the requirement, and this requirement is as in the form of the promoter which initiates the expression of these genes. Here the same process is explained here. As you can see here, the three genes Z, Y, A. In particular lac operon, there are only three genes which are controlling the enzymes beta-galactosidase, permease and transacetylase, so that lactose synthesizes glucose. It breaks down and forms glucose and galactose. Henceforth, the glucose as a main source of the energy is synthesized in the body. So here the same process, when the promoter as a segment of the DNA copies the information into mRNA. Now this as an inducer, it either blocks or either activates. If it blocks, then there will be no expression of the genes. If it do not block, there will be expression of these three genes, so that the three genes will trigger the synthesis of these three enzymes, and hence the glucose is synthesized from lactose. Lac operon in absence of inducer. The repressor is synthesized all the time from the I gene. The repressor protein binds to the operator region and prevents the RNA polymerase from transcribing the operon. So hence the enzyme synthesis is controlled by the operon. Now all of you remember, operon has two important things. What is that? Operator site and structural genes. So lac operon has three structural genes, Z, Y and A, which initiates or triggers the synthesis of three enzymes, which as beta-galactosidase, which helps in the breakdown of lactose, permease, which permit lactose into the cell, and transacetylase, which transfers acetyl group from acetyl coenzyme to a galactoside. So hence the lactose sugar provided in the cultural medium helps in the synthesis of glucose. So lac operon is very important. A regulator gene, a promoter, operator, structural gene and inducer are the very important parts of a lac operon. So in the presence of inducer, because lactose or lac operon of E. coli is the bacteria, is inducible operon. So operon are switched on when a chemical inducer lactose is present in the medium.
The E. coli lac operon is an example of an inducible set of genes. These genes are responsible for the breakdown of lactose into sugars used for cellular metabolism. This inducible system also involves bacterial DNA, a repressor, mRNA, and the sugar molecule lactose. This animation will only focus on two of the three proteins encoded by the lac operon, beta-galactosidase and permease. Gene expression can be induced or turned on when a specific inducer molecule appears in a cell. For inducible systems, a repressor molecule prevents gene expression by binding to the upstream controlling region. Lactose is the lac operon inducer molecule. After first appearing in the cellular environment, lactose passively enters the E. coli cell and binds to the repressor molecule. This binding releases the repressor from the controlling region. At this point, RNA polymerase can begin transcription of the operon. Here we show two of the three lac operon genes being transcribed into mRNA. Ribosomes then bind to the mRNA and the two proteins are translated. The first protein is beta-galactosidase, which breaks down lactose into two simple sugars. The second protein is permease, a membrane-bound protein. When embedded in the cell membrane, permease functions to provide a direct route for the lactose outside the cell to be imported into the cell. This import occurs at a much greater rate than the passive transfer we first observed. Because translation continues inside the cell, other permease proteins become embedded in the membrane. This further increases the rate at which lactose enters the cell. Beta-galactosidase breaks the cellular lactose into the simple sugars glucose and galactose. Once its concentration is greatly reduced, the lactose bound to the repressor are released. At this point, the repressor again binds to the controlling region and gene expression is halted. For all inducible systems like the lac operon, it is the interaction of the repressor and inducer molecules that mediate gene expression.
Human Genome Project. Now, HGP or Human Genome Project is a joint venture of US Department of Energy and National Institute of Health. It is launched in 1990 and completed in 2003. It was a project worked towards the determination of complete DNA sequence of humans. Now, genome means a complete set of genes which is present in an organism. Now, human genome means the set of genes which is present and studied in human. So, Human Genome Project was the main motto was to determine the complete DNA sequence of the genes present in humans. And all these sequences are to be stored in the typed form in books, so that in each book there will be the information of the DNA sequence from a single human cell. So this creates a problem for the storage and retrieval and analysis of data. To solve this problem, high-speed computational devices were used. There is a higher study if anyone want to go for bioinformatics. You are going to study in detail what is a genome, how the DNA sequence of humans are important to study and has a major role also in the treatment of different disorders. So DNA sequence not only for understanding and also to know the different drawbacks and the positions of the genes, and also for the treatment of different genetic disorders. So bioinformatics is going to help that. The goals of Human Genome Project: identify all the approximately 20,000 to 25,000 genes in the human DNA. Determine the sequences of the 3 billion chemical base pairs that make up human DNA. Store this information in databases. Improve tools for data analysis. Transfer related technologies to other sectors such as industries. And address the ethical, legal, and social issues that may arise from the project. The genome sequencing. Now, the sequence of the genes which are present on the DNA in human are also studied, so that there will be a different process for them to analyze it by cloning the fragments using different vectors like bacterial artificial chromosomes BAC and YAC yeast artificial chromosomes. The common host taken were bacteria and yeast, and automated sequences are used to sequence these smaller fragments to understand the alignment of the sequences by using different computational tools, and also to annotate and assign to each chromosome. So genome sequencing is very important to understand it. There are different genetic and physical maps which have to be identified on a genome, and this also takes place using different computational tools and also with the help of enzymes like restriction endonucleases, which recognizes different sites and cut the sequences into small DNA fragments with repetitive sequences known as microsatellites. So in this way we can identify the location of different set of genes on the genome. Different salient or important features of human genome are they contain 3,164.7 million nucleotide bases. The average gene consists of 30,000 bases. The total number of genes is estimated at 30,000. The functions are unknown for over 50% of the discovered genes. Less than 2% of the genome codes for proteins. Repeated sequences make up a large portion of the human genome. Repeated sequences that are repeated many times thought to have no direct coding functions because they shed light on chromosome structure, dynamics and evolution. So chromosome 1 has most genes and the Y has the fewest. So X has most genes. Scientists have identified 1.4 million locations where single base DNA differences occur in human. And now coming to the DNA fingerprinting, which is a very interesting topic. You must have heard it many times. It is one of the study in forensic science. If for higher studies you are going to study forensic science, DNA fingerprinting has a major role, which is a method employed to compare the DNA sequences of any two individuals. Because every human has a unique sequence of DNA. Of the total base sequence present in human, 99.9% in all human beings are identical. But the remaining 0.1% differs from person to person. So this 0.1% different is there. No two person can have identical. It is very difficult and time consuming task to sequence and compare all these bases in two individuals. So instead of considering the entire genome, certain specific regions called repetitive DNA sequences are used to comparative study. There are different methods like the density gradient centrifugation method to identify the smaller segment, that is the repetitive sequence of the genes or the DNA, known as the satellite DNA, that is categorized as mini or micro depending on the following: the base sequence, length and the number of repetitive units. So by this method, the DNA fingerprinting is being carried out to comparatively to study the DNA sequences. The technique of DNA fingerprinting as VNTR, that is variable number of tandem repeats, is a type of satellite DNA that shows a high degree of polymorphism. So the various steps which are involved: isolation of the DNA, digestion of the DNA. Digestion means breakdown of the DNA with the help of restriction endonuclease enzyme. Digestion with restriction endonuclease creates DNA fragments which are then separated by gel electrophoresis. Now, gel electrophoresis is a technique where in a tray we are going to put the gel and there will be small wells in that where we are going to put all the DNA with the enzyme, and it is connected to a galvanometer, and where the current supplies and the DNA bands travel from positive to negative end, and while traveling as per their densities they form different bands at different levels at different distance from the original. So in this way we can separate the DNA fragments and we can blot it, that is into synthetic membranes, by Southern blotting method, and these fragments can be observed under X-ray, and detection of these hybridized DNA fragments by autoradiography can be done to observe the different DNA bands which are obtained by this method. See, the autoradiogram after hybridization with the VNTR probe. Probe means to identify. So there is a identifier segment which has a complementary sequence with that of the sequence that we require, and this probe goes and identifies exactly the particular sequence, and we come to know that this particular sequence is present here. So these bands, they give a characteristic pattern for an individual DNA. They are different in each individual except identical twins. So this is the flowchart of the methods used for the process of DNA fingerprinting. First is the DNA extraction from the cell. Second step, amplification of the DNA content. Amplification means increasing the DNA content by multiplying it in polymerase chain reaction. It is a machine where the DNA fragments are copied multiplyly as per the number we require. DNA fragmentation by restriction endonuclease, then gel electrophoresis, then double-stranded DNA split into single-stranded. DNA breaks into two strands. Then Southern blotting. Southern blotting is a technique where the bands which are splitted and fragmented are being blotted on a paper or a nylon sheet. But it's another process which I am going to explain you later, which is not required here. Nylon sheet immersed in water having probes. They are the markers where hybridization occur. Probe is a small segment which has a complementary sequence, and this probe or a sequence of the DNA binds to that particular sequence we require and hybridization occur. So this nylon membrane is are observed under X-ray film, that is autoradiography, and the bands can be observed because of the probes which are attached to that particular DNA fragment. In this way, we can observe different DNA bands of different individuals and compare it. So the application of DNA fingerprinting is test of paternity. Paternity means if a son is always have identical DNA fingerprinting with that of father. So we can identify the son or the father by basing the comparative study of both DNAs. Identification of the criminal. If a crime occurs at the crime scene, if we get either a part of the skin, a part of the hair, or blood, for any kind of fluid of the person or the criminal, we can extract the DNA, isolate it, and we can identify that particular criminal from its DNA fingerprint. Population diversity determination. Different population can be identified by studying the DNA fingerprinting and matching them. Determination of genetic diversity. We can identify the variations and different genes present on it by DNA fingerprinting. Thank you.